disease that occurs in about 1 in every 700 babies born across the world. Older mothers are more likely to have a baby affected by Down syndrome. World Down Syndrome Day is celebrated around the world on March 21st. This year's theme is My Community, My Workplace, enabling all people with Down syndrome to contribute and live valued working lives to be fully involved in the community. The event was hosted in collaboration with the Office of the Chief Secretary, the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development, and the United Nations. Chief Secretary Mr. Kelvin Charles said that the theme was relevant to society and the policies today and praised the Down Syndrome fraternity for doing an exceptional job.
The Down Syndrome Family Network has shown through its continued advocacy and activism its willingness to work with this special group to maximize their potential and not place them, as it were, into any proverbial box. And for this, you guys deserve a hearty round of applause.
Having Down syndrome doesn't deter one from having big dreams and being successful, says David Egan, a 40-year-old living with Down syndrome. He was also the featured speaker at the conference. He said people living with Down syndrome can have an active life in the society.
People with Down syndrome can and do, in fact, contribute in the community and in the workplace. We belong in our community. We make a difference in many settings, from the family to the legislature, from the school to the workplace, in business, the media, the arts, sports, and in all aspects of human life.
There is a misconception about persons with intellectual disabilities here in Trinidad. That's why Glenn Niles, co-founder and chairman of the Down Syndrome Family Network TT, is trying to make a change, starting with his own son Tyrese, who has Down syndrome. That was the reason he started this organization. He said that rather than treating his son as having a disability, he treated him like an ordinary child. So making his bed, brushing his teeth, and even crossing the streets were part of their daily routine.
I see a lot of parents when they are crossing the street with their children, they just hold their hands and drag them across the street. But I'm old school. I grew up, you stand, you look left and right, you listen, before. So I taught him the same thing so that he will do the same thing.
A greater effort is needed to be made in Trinidad and Tobago to include people with Down syndrome. So Mr. Niles is calling for collaborative effort to be made from the government to the private sector to give people living with disability a chance to try, so they can find their forte and can be pushed to their fullest potential.
So that is what we try to challenge the public and private sector to create programs where even for those like Tyrese who did not benefit from an inclusive educational system, they might have on-the-job training where they would be able to mentor them and train them and see where their potential lies.
With care and support, children who have Down syndrome can live a healthy, happy, productive life. I'm Crystal George for Your Tobago Notes.